Chosen one, anchor your spirit to what I am about to reveal. Because what I uncovered while preparing this message made me sit in silence for a long time, and it changes everything you thought you knew about your pain. I know exactly what the last few weeks have felt like for you. You have been pouring your energy into everyone else. You fix their problems without asking for anything in return, but the moment you need a fraction of that support, the room goes completely quiet. The conversations suddenly stop when you walk in. The atmosphere in your own home feels strangely heavy. You wake up at 3 in the morning with a weight on your chest. You cannot explain this crushing exhaustion to anyone around you. They look at you, and they only see a convenient scapegoat. They take your light and leave you in the dark, and you are starting to wonder if you are cursed to give forever while receiving absolutely nothing in return. The enemy has been working overtime against you for one specific reason. He knows what happens the exact moment you understand the truth. He is terrified of the shift that occurs when you finally realize who you are, because the moment you wake up to your power, his entire assignment against you collapses. You did not find this video by accident today. The algorithm did not simply push this into your feed. The Holy Spirit brought you here for a specific reason, because this is a divine appointment that was scheduled before the foundations of the earth were even laid. In the next few minutes, I will reveal the real reason you were made the scapegoat. I will expose the one massive lie keeping you trapped in this exhausting cycle. At the end of this message, I will give you the declaration that seals your breakthrough. Do not click away. Resist that sudden urge to scroll past this video. If you leave before the end, you walk away from the verdict heaven just released for your life. I see the exhaustion carrying you right now. It is a deep weariness in your bones. You have spent your entire life being the reliable one. And every single time someone is in crisis, they come running straight to you because they know you will fix it. You give them your time and your energy. You pour out everything you have to make sure they are okay. But what happens when you are the one falling apart? The silence you get in return is absolutely deafening. You look around for the people you saved, reaching out for a hand to hold when your own world is crumbling. But suddenly everyone is too busy to answer your desperate call. They take your peace and leave you with their chaos. They treat you like a dumping ground for their emotional garbage. Whenever something goes wrong, you somehow become the person they blame. It is always your fault. You are the easy target, because you refuse to fight back with the same toxic venom they always use. You absorb their anger. You carry their guilt so they do not have to feel it. This is the trap of the scapegoat. You keep thinking that if you just love them harder, they will finally see your immense value. You genuinely believe that your endless sacrifice will eventually earn their respect and their loyalty over time. But that day never comes. Instead, they just demand more from you, while offering nothing but empty promises in return. Your spirit is completely drained right now. Your physical body is manifesting this spiritual exhaustion through headaches and those long sleepless nights. You lie awake staring at the ceiling in the dark, wondering why your kindness is constantly repaid with such bitter betrayal. It feels like a heavy curse that you cannot escape no matter how hard you try. The scales of your relationships are entirely broken. You put 100% onto their side of the scale. They place absolutely 0 on yours. And yet they somehow convince you that you are the one not doing nearly enough for them. They constantly manipulate your empathy against you. They use your beautiful heart as a weapon to keep you exactly where they want you. You have reached a breaking point. The well of your compassion has run completely dry. You cannot give another single drop of your precious energy to people who only know how to take without ever giving back. The isolation you feel right now is incredibly painful. But you are not imagining this targeted attack against your precious peace. You are not crazy. What you are feeling is entirely real. You have been carrying this heavy cross for years. You thought it was your permanent burden to bear. You sincerely believed that this deep pain was just the price you had to pay for loving broken people. But I am telling you today that you have been looking at this through the wrong lens entirely. The pain you feel is not the end of your story. I need to reframe your entire reality right now. Everything you thought was a terrible punishment is actually a profound spiritual revelation. You have always believed that you were targeted because you were weak and easy to manipulate. But they did not drain you because you lacked inner strength. They drained you because you carry a massive supply of divine light, and they were completely starved of that exact same peace. You are not a broken person trying to fix everyone else around you. You are a human battery carrying a very rare frequency. Broken people are drawn to you instinctively because their own spirits are totally empty. They cannot generate their own joy, so they constantly siphon your beautiful energy just to survive another difficult day. Your immense empathy is not a foolish character flaw. It is a highly tuned spiritual radar that you must learn to protect. This brings us to the ultimate truth about your current season. You look at your empty room and call it painful rejection, but heaven looks at your quiet life and calls it absolute protection. God did not remove these people from your life simply to punish you or make you feel lonely. He systematically cleared the room so he could finally speak to you without their constant toxic interference drowning out his gentle voice. The scripture tells us in the book of Hosea that God will lead you into the wilderness to speak tenderly to you. The wilderness is never a place of starvation. It is a place of intense spiritual consecration. You had to be completely separated from the worldly noise to hear the actual instruction for your future. Every person who walked away was quietly escorted out by divine intervention because they could not handle where you are going. They left because they could no longer survive in your rapidly rising frequency. As your spirit matured, your bright light became much too intense for their comfortable shadows. They could not manipulate you the way they used to in the past. They could not dump their toxic waste into your beautiful soul anymore. So they pulled away and quickly made you the villain of their completely fabricated story, while you were left wondering what you did wrong. Being the scapegoat is an incredibly painful label to carry in this life. But in ancient biblical times, the scapegoat was the specific one chosen to carry the heavy things entirely out of the camp. It was a sacred role of immense spiritual weight. You were not pushed out of your circle because you were unworthy or unlovable. You were pushed out because you were the only one strong enough to break the terrible generational curse. You must stop looking at yourself through the critical eyes of broken people. They will never be able to accurately calculate your true worth. They used you because you were the most valuable healing resource they had ever encountered in their dark lives. Your giving nature was completely exploited, but that does not mean your pure heart was a mistake. It simply means you were casting your precious pearls before swine. Heaven operates on a completely different economy than this fallen world does. Every single ounce of love you poured out is permanently recorded in the celestial books. You thought you were giving so much and receiving absolutely nothing in return, but God was acting as your divine bank account during that entire season of betrayal. Every silent tear you cried was actually a massive investment into your rising spiritual authority. This is the precise moment you stop mourning the toxic relationships that drained you. You are no longer a sad victim of their careless selfishness. You are a chosen vessel being carefully prepared for a massive assignment. The enemy desperately wanted you to feel completely drained and worthless because he hoped you would eventually give up on your calling. But your current isolation is actually the launching pad for your greatest victory. But here is where the narrative of your journey delves far deeper than most are willing to perceive. You have to understand the intense process of how a true weapon is forged in this life. You do not just find a master sword resting gently on a soft silk pillow. It is plunged into the blazing crucible over and over again. The intense fire burns away every single impurity. The heavy hammer strikes it repeatedly until it takes the exact shape the master intends. This is exactly what has been happening in your very own life. The betrayals and the constant exhaustion were the heavy hammer striking your spirit. You felt like you were being completely shattered into a million tiny pieces. But heaven was actually forging you into an unstoppable force for the kingdom. They thought they were breaking you down. They did not realize they were helping to sharpen your spiritual edge to a razor finish. Look at the profound story of Joseph in the ancient scriptures. He was the classic scapegoat of his own deeply dysfunctional family. He had a beautiful coat and a massive dream given directly by God, but his own brothers hated him for the bright light he carried. They threw him into a dark pit and sold him off into slavery without a second thought. They completely drained his joy and left him with absolutely nothing. Joseph gave them his love, and they gave him a prison sentence in return. But the pit was never his final destination in the grand story. It was a required step in his divine preparation. If Joseph had stayed comfortable at home with his toxic brothers, he never would have been positioned to save nations from famine. God had to isolate him entirely to elevate him to the highest seat of power. Consider the young shepherd David before he ever became a legendary king. He was the ultimate forgotten child in his own family. When the great prophet came to anoint the new leader, David was not even invited to the important dinner. His own father left him out in the dirty fields to tend the sheep alone. He was the unnoticed scapegoat doing all the hard labor, while his older brothers paraded around in their shiny armor. But heaven was not looking at their impressive armor or their loud boasts. God was watching the quiet boy in the isolated field who fought off wild lions in total secret. Your hidden battles were never ignored. Every time you stood alone and fought off the anxiety they pushed onto you, heaven recorded your massive victory. You were being anointed in the shadows while everyone else was busy seeking cheap attention in the light. Your story is echoing that exact same divine pattern right now. The people who threw you under the bus are playing a role they do not even understand. They thought their betrayal would permanently bury your bright future. They assumed you would stay down and just accept the cruel label of the defeated scapegoat forever. But they merely provided the exact transportation you needed to reach your assigned palace. You carry a very heavy mantle that requires a massive capacity to hold it properly. If God handed you this level of authority before you were ready, it would crush you. He had to test your heart in the dark to ensure you could handle the brilliant light. You proved your character when you continued to love people who constantly hurt you. You showed heaven that your spirit is pure and completely trustworthy. The immense pain you endured was the rigorous training ground for your spiritual promotion. Every time you gave your energy and received nothing back, you were building immense spiritual endurance. You were learning how to rely solely on the divine source instead of broken human vessels. God was teaching you how to tap into an infinite well of living water. You will never run dry again once you master this crucial lesson. You must stop asking God why you had to suffer through all of this isolation. You must start thanking Him for clearing the room before the real blessing arrives. Your hands had to be completely empty so you could finally catch what heaven is dropping right now. You are standing on the very edge of a massive revelation about your true identity. The old version of you is already gone. And once that profound truth clicks into place, you are ready for the next crucial layer. Coming up in just a moment, I am going to reveal a specific secret about these toxic relationships. I will show you the hidden spiritual filter that is actively working right now to protect your future. But first, this truth must land deep in your spirit. It must settle like solid bedrock. Here is that deeper layer I promised you about the spiritual filter. The fact that you gave everything and received nothing was not a failure of your love. It was a divine filter actively working to protect your peace, because heaven knew exactly what these people were capable of doing to your future. You thought you were just being used and discarded, but heaven was actually screening the room for you. God designed your anointing to be incredibly expensive in this season. Broken people want the massive benefits of your bright light, but they absolutely refuse to pay the heavy price of true loyalty. They want the comfort of your presence without the responsibility of honoring your spirit, so heaven made you too expensive for them to keep. This is the profound paradox of the chosen giver. You felt completely empty when they walked away with your precious energy. But that sudden emptiness was actually the universe creating massive space for something much better. You were being forcefully emptied of toxic attachments, so you could be filled with divine purpose. And this process required total isolation. Think about a heavy sponge soaked in dirty water. If you want it to absorb pure water, you have to squeeze out every single drop of the old mess first. That squeezing process is incredibly painful. You feel completely crushed by the immense pressure, but it is the absolute only way to make room for the fresh, healing rain. The people who constantly drained you were the dirty water in your spiritual sponge. They occupied sacred space in your life that did not belong to them. They sat in front row seats at your table while treating you like a total beggar. Heaven had to aggressively flip the table to get them out of the room completely, because they were never going to leave. They looked at your extreme kindness and mistook it for foolish weakness. They thought they could just keep taking from your deep well until you collapsed in the dirt. But they severely underestimated the profound source of your supply, because your well is connected to an infinite ocean that their blind eyes can never even see. Every single time they took from you without giving back, they were speeding up their own exit. The massive imbalance became a spiritual alarm bell. It rang so loudly in the heavens that God himself stepped in to cut the heavy cord before they ruined you. You did not lose them. You were permanently rescued from them. Now you look around your quiet life and wonder if you will always be this alone. You wonder if anyone will ever match the intense effort you naturally bring to the table. The answer is a resounding yes for your future. But you cannot possibly meet your true tribe while you are still desperately clinging to the hungry parasites of your past. Your extreme generosity is a beautiful gift that requires very strict boundaries. In the past, you left your front door wide open for absolutely anyone to walk inside. You served a massive feast to people who only came to steal the expensive silver, leaving you starving. That exhausting season of blind giving is officially over today. The paradox of your painful isolation is that it perfectly prepares you for true connection. By giving so much and receiving absolutely nothing, you learned what fake love looks like in the dark. You studied the subtle patterns of takers and manipulators. Your spiritual radar is now fully calibrated to detect their toxic frequency instantly. You will never be fooled by their empty words again. The next time someone tries to use you as a convenient scapegoat, your awake spirit will recognize the trap immediately. You will simply smile and quietly close the heavy door in their face. You have finally learned how to protect your sacred energy from emotional thieves who refuse to heal themselves. This is exactly why your current isolation is not a punishment at all. It is a strictly enforced divine quarantine. Heaven is carefully detoxing your spirit from years of severe emotional abuse. You are healing from the intense whiplash of giving your heart to people who treated it like garbage, and that healing takes significant time. But this quiet healing is only the gentle beginning of your massive transformation. Once you recover your strength, you will face the hardest truth of all. Coming up, I will expose the exact lie the enemy used to keep you trapped in that dark cycle. But first, let this powerful realization settle deep in your mind and anchor your spirit securely. Here is the exact lie the enemy used to keep you completely trapped in that dark cycle. He convinced your beautiful mind that setting a firm boundary was an act of extreme selfishness. You were taught that a good person must always say yes to every single demand placed upon them. So every time you even thought about protecting your own energy, a massive wave of toxic guilt washed over you. You apologized for simply needing a moment to breathe. The enemy weaponized your own pure empathy against your tired soul. When the manipulators realized they could no longer force you to do their heavy lifting, they changed their dark tactics. They started playing the helpless victim to trigger your deep compassion. They knew you could not stand to see anyone suffer, even the very people who caused your deepest pain. Your bleeding heart became the perfect target for their endless emotional extortion. But you must understand that empathy without strict boundaries is simply self-destruction in disguise. You thought you were being incredibly noble by absorbing all their toxic shockwaves. You believed that carrying their heavy burdens was your holy duty in this life. But God never asked you to be a permanent martyr for people who refuse to pick up their own cross. You are a chosen vessel, not a universal dumping ground for their unhealed trauma. Think about what happens the exact moment you finally say no to them. The mask completely slips off their face in an instant. The person who claimed to love you deeply suddenly treats you like a bitter enemy, acting completely outraged that the free ride is finally over. This aggressive reaction is all the proof you will ever need to see their true intentions. They did not love you. They only loved what you could constantly do for them. Their sudden anger is not a reflection of your failure to love them well. It is a reflection of their extreme panic because they have lost their ultimate emotional supply source. You were the only person willing to tolerate their constant chaos without demanding any accountability. So when you finally draw a firm line in the sand, their fragile system collapses entirely. They immediately scramble to make you feel completely crazy just to regain their lost control over your peace. This revelation alone is enough to shatter the heavy chains holding you back. And because this specific message is so vital for the chosen ones feeling completely drained right now, we need to pause. Before you go any further, gently press the like button so this blessing can reach someone else who has given everything and received nothing. Your simple action right now acts as a spiritual beacon in the dark algorithm. It helps another exhausted soul find the exact validation they desperately need today. Now let us return to the immense power of your new boundaries. Setting a boundary is not building a massive brick wall to keep true love out of your life. It is simply putting a heavy lock on your front door to keep the emotional thieves outside where they belong. A beautiful garden will be completely trampled if it does not have a strong fence to protect the delicate flowers. Your spirit is that rare garden, and it requires aggressive protection from wandering pests who only want to consume. You have to actively reject the false guilt they try to place on your heavy shoulders. When they call you selfish for resting, you must recognize that accusation as a dark, demonic whisper. True love will always respect your need to recharge your depleted energy. Only a parasite gets angry when the host decides to finally take care of itself. You owe them absolutely nothing. You have already paid your dues in blood, sweat, and endless silent tears over the years. This is the profound turning point in your spiritual journey today. You are finally learning how to properly steward the massive power resting inside your chest. You are taking back the stolen keys to your own peace. But to fully step into this new authority, you have to deeply understand the true nature of your past pain. The things that made you a target are actually the exact tools you need for your future. The enemy tried to make you hate the most beautiful parts of your own soul. He desperately wanted you to view your extreme sensitivity as a terrible weakness that needed to be hidden away from the world. Coming up next, I'm going to show you how to weaponize that exact sensitivity. I will reveal why your past as a helpless scapegoat was the perfect training ground. But first, you must let go of every single ounce of guilt you are carrying today. Let us look closely at the very thing they mocked you for. They always told you that you were far too sensitive for the real world. They rolled their eyes in disgust when you felt things too deeply. You absorbed the heavy emotions of every single person in the room instantly. They made you feel like your deep empathy was a terrible psychological defect that desperately needed to be fixed. But they were completely wrong about your beautiful and complex design. The extreme sensitivity they told you to hide is actually a highly advanced spiritual radar. You were never actually too sensitive for this harsh reality. You were built to operate on a completely different frequency than the rest of the dark world. Your nervous system is finely tuned to detect the subtle shifts in the spiritual atmosphere around you. This is exactly why you always know when someone is lying. You can feel the dark, hidden intentions hiding right behind their fake plastic smiles. You sense the heavy danger long before the trap ever springs closed. They hated your deep intuition because it completely ruined their deceptive and comfortable illusions. Your bright light easily exposed the dark corners they desperately wanted to keep hidden from the public eye. You were made the scapegoat because your presence made the demons inside them incredibly uncomfortable. They could not manipulate the false narrative when you could clearly see straight through their lies. So they viciously attacked your credibility to protect their own toxic secrets. They called you crazy so no one would ever believe the profound truths you were speaking out loud. But what you carry inside is not a tragic wound at all. It is a massive spiritual weapon forged in the intense fires of your painful past. You survived the intense pressure of being the misunderstood scapegoat for a very specific reason. That terrible environment forced you to develop an elite level of spiritual discernment just to survive the daily emotional abuse. You had to learn how to read the silent energy in the room immediately. Heaven allowed you to endure that intense pressure cooker for a glorious purpose. You desperately needed this exact level of sharp discernment for the massive assignment waiting in your future. If you had never been the abused scapegoat, you would still be incredibly naive to the dark tactics of the enemy. You would blindly trust the wrong people and completely ruin the delicate mission ahead of you. But now you are completely awake to the harsh reality of the spiritual war. You have the rare ability to walk into a room and instantly diagnose the unseen spiritual sickness. You do not just feel the heavy and chaotic emotions anymore. You can accurately identify the demonic root causing the pain, and you know exactly how to pray against it with massive authority. Your extreme empathy is no longer a soft sponge absorbing toxic waste from broken people. It has fully transformed into a brilliant laser beam that cuts right through the thickest darkness. The enemy spent years trying to convince you that your sensitivity was a fatal flaw. He wanted you to numb your heavy feelings and shut down your divine radar completely so you would become blind. You must immediately stop apologizing for the immense depth of your soul. Stop trying to shrink your massive spirit to fit perfectly into their tiny, comfortable boxes. You were specifically designed to stand out and carry the heavy frequency of heaven into very dark places. When they tell you that you are too much, you must boldly smile and agree with them without hesitation. You are entirely too much for their low and stagnant vibration. You are overflowing with the divine anointing that shatters heavy yokes and breaks generational curses. You carry the specific medicine that the entire broken world is desperately crying out for right now. The time for hiding your brilliant light in the quiet shadows is officially over today. But before you can fully step into this new, powerful role, we must confront one final obstacle. There is a deep hidden block resting quietly inside your own heavy heart. It is the last remaining chain keeping you tied to the painful identity of the scapegoat. Coming up next, I will gently expose the very thing you are most afraid to admit to yourself right now. This final revelation is the heavy key that unlocks your complete spiritual freedom forever. But here is the part no one ever wants to hear about their own journey. It requires you to look honestly in the mirror and face a very uncomfortable truth about your past choices. Let this powerful truth sink deep into your spirit before we take the hardest step forward together. Here is the uncomfortable part of your journey that we must finally address today. I say this next part to you with absolutely nothing but pure love in my heart, because this is not a harsh accusation against your character at all. This is a spiritual diagnosis to set you completely free. The enemy did not keep you trapped in that painful cycle all by himself. He had quiet help from a very hidden place deep inside your own soul. The truth is that you stayed in those toxic rooms much longer than heaven ever intended, hoping your endless love would somehow change them. You kept offering yourself up as the convenient scapegoat long after you saw their true colors. You knew they were draining your precious energy, but you refused to close the heavy door. You made a silent agreement with the very people who were systematically destroying your peace. You convinced yourself that if you just suffered enough, you would eventually belong to their chosen tribe. You wanted their shallow acceptance so badly that you were willing to bleed for it daily, even when they offered nothing back. You lowered your bright frequency just to make their darkness feel comfortable. Why did you willingly choose to stay in a place that caused you such immense pain? The answer is not that you are weak or hopelessly broken inside. The real block is that some quiet part of you has been absolutely terrified of your own immense power, and you did not want to face it. You knew that if you stopped being the broken scapegoat, you would have to step into true leadership. Being the victim of their constant abuse gave you a strange sense of twisted safety. As long as they were the terrible villains, you never had to take full responsibility for your massive calling in this life. You could easily hide your brilliant light behind their constant chaotic drama. You used their endless problems as the perfect excuse to avoid your divine destiny entirely, safely hidden in the shadows. You played small on purpose because the sheer weight of your anointing scared you deeply. If you set firm boundaries, you would lose the familiar comfort of the old crowd, and the sudden isolation felt completely overwhelming. You would have to stand completely alone in the bright light of your true spiritual identity. Standing alone felt far more dangerous than being constantly used by people you already knew. But playing small is a direct insult to the massive price heaven paid for your life. God did not forge you in the intense fires of affliction so you could just hide in the shadows forever. He gave you a rare spiritual radar so you could confidently lead others out of the dark, using your immense pain to heal the brokenness of the world. Every time you dim your light, you are rejecting your divine assignment. This quiet fear of your own success is the hidden block keeping you completely paralyzed. You are not waiting for God to finally rescue you from this exhausting situation. God is actively waiting for you to finally agree with what He already declared about your life, because your ultimate freedom requires your active participation. He is waiting for you to stop apologizing for the massive space your beautiful spirit requires. The scapegoat identity is a heavy, ragged coat that you are still stubbornly choosing to wear. It is completely full of holes, and it does not keep you warm anymore. But you keep wrapping it tightly around your tired shoulders because it feels so incredibly familiar, and stepping into the cold unknown is a terrifying prospect. It is officially time to take that dirty coat off and leave it on the cold floor forever. You must release the intense need to be deeply understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. You have to stop seeking validation from broken souls who do not even know their own worth, because they can only see you through the dark lens of their own trauma. They will never give you the permission you are desperately waiting for today. You do not need their permission, because heaven already gave you the ultimate authority. This is the profound moment of total surrender for your tired and weary spirit. You have to forgive yourself for staying in the painful fire entirely too long. You did the absolute best you could with the limited tools you had at the time, loving people who simply did not have the capacity to love you back. But you know exactly who you are now, and you cannot ever go back to sleep in that incredibly toxic environment. The deep discomfort you feel right now is the beautiful pain of a massive spiritual birth. You are standing between two very different identities in this exact moment. The old scapegoat is rapidly dissolving into the dust of your painful past, making room for the powerful leader heaven always knew you would become. The chosen warrior is waking up, and the intense warfare you endured proves the absolute magnitude of your calling. You are finally ready to cross the sacred threshold and leave the heavy baggage behind. The time for quietly analyzing your painful wounds is officially over today, because your massive destiny requires your immediate and undivided attention from this moment forward. Coming up next, we are going to actively sever those dark spiritual ties completely. I am going to lead you through the exact declaration that seals your total freedom forever. And now we have reached the pivotal moment of your entire journey. The season of playing the silent victim is completely over today. You are no longer required to carry the heavy burdens of broken people. Today is the day you finally lay that exhausting weight down on the ground, because you are taking back the stolen authority over your beautiful life. I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now. Close your tired eyes and take a very deep breath. Feel the immense weight of the past years sitting heavily on your shoulders. You have carried their toxic shame and their bitter anger for far too long, and it is officially time to return all of that dark energy back to its original source. It never belonged to you in the first place. Place your right hand firmly over your beating heart. Feel the incredible divine life pulsing through your sensitive body. You are still standing here despite every single thing they did to break you. They tried to completely destroy your bright spirit, but heaven stepped in and used their evil intentions to develop your profound strength instead, turning your deepest pain into your greatest spiritual weapon. Speak these words out loud with massive conviction in your voice. I totally release the intense need to be needed by broken people. I break every single silent agreement I made with the painful scapegoat identity. I am not a dumping ground for the unhealed trauma of this dark world, and my precious energy is a sacred gift that requires strict protection. I forgive myself for staying in toxic rooms entirely too long. I forgive my beautiful heart for loving people who were completely incapable of loving me back. But I will never again shrink my massive spirit to make their darkness feel comfortable. I step boldly into the brilliant light of my true divine assignment today, because I am finally ready to accept my role as the chosen one. Let those powerful words settle deep into your bones right now. The heavy chains of the past are officially broken forever. The generational curse stops right here with your brave decision to walk away. You do not have to explain your sudden absence to people who refuse to understand your worth, and your absolute silence is the only answer they will ever receive from you. The old version of you died in that painful isolation, but the new warrior standing here today is completely untouchable by their petty manipulations. You have survived the intense blazing fire of the crucible. You are walking out of the dark wilderness carrying the specific medicine this broken world desperately needs, proving that your profound isolation was actually your divine coronation. Heaven is actively shifting the spiritual atmosphere around you this very second. The heavy doors that were previously slammed in your face are being blown wide open. The divine connections that match your pure frequency are already moving rapidly toward you. You do not have to chase after fake love or shallow acceptance ever again, because true love will simply find you resting securely in your massive power. Your breakthrough is not coming sometime in the distant future. It is already here, and it is fully activated inside your chest. The enemy lost his tight grip on your mind the exact moment you recognized your true value. You are finally free to run the massive race heaven set before you, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. Some messages do not just inform your busy mind. They actively shift the spiritual tectonic plates beneath your tired feet. And if something stirred deep inside your spirit just now, you are not alone in this intense battlefield. There is an entire hidden tribe of chosen ones waking up right now, and they know exactly how much it hurts to give everything while receiving absolutely nothing in return. You carry a heavy responsibility to help wake up the others today. Share this message with someone who has also been treated like a convenient scapegoat. Send this directly to the person who is always called too sensitive or too much. They desperately need to hear that their immense pain was never a tragic mistake, and they need the exact same divine validation that just set you free. Your simple act of sharing becomes a powerful lifeline in the dark. It reaches into their quiet isolation and violently pulls them out of the enemy trap. We are building a massive army of healed healers who refuse to be used anymore. You are a vital part of this rising movement of awakened warriors, and together we will completely dismantle the dark systems that kept us entirely bound. Do not let this profound momentum stop with you today. Let your restored voice echo loudly through the quiet digital wilderness. The world desperately needs the pure frequency that you are finally allowing to shine. Stand incredibly tall in your new identity and refuse to ever look back at the old ruins, because your greatest chapter is officially beginning right now. The intense season of your painful preparation is completely over today, and you have finally crossed the heavy threshold into a brand new spiritual reality. The thick atmosphere that used to crush your chest has finally lifted forever. Breathe in the beautiful peace that heaven is pouring over your tired soul right now. You are perfectly safe in this elevated frequency. Your spirit is no longer fighting a desperate war just to survive another exhausting day. You were never the broken scapegoat that they desperately wanted you to be. You are the chosen one who carries the exact spiritual medicine this dying world needs. The deep sensitivity they constantly mocked is the very radar that will proudly guide you forward. Everything you endured was simply the intense training ground for your massive divine assignment, and nothing was ever wasted in the grand celestial design. As you step forward into tomorrow, your spiritual boundaries are now made of solid iron. When the old toxic patterns try to creep back into your quiet life, you will recognize them instantly. You will simply smile and firmly lock the heavy door without feeling a single ounce of guilt. Your precious energy belongs strictly to the divine purpose placed on your beautiful life, because you are the powerful guardian of your own profound peace. The universe is actively realigning the people and opportunities around you right now. As you confidently hold this new bright frequency, the absolute right connections are being drawn toward your light. You will no longer attract the hungry parasites who only know how to take from you. You are magnetizing the healed souls who actually know how to give and receive genuine love. The heavy scales of your relationships are finally balancing perfectly. You do not have to exhaust yourself by constantly chasing after cheap validation anymore. The profound truth is that your ultimate breakthrough is not coming in some distant future. It is already here, and it is fully functioning inside your awake spirit. The desperate searching is officially over because you have finally found the immense power resting within yourself, and you simply have to learn how to walk in it daily. Tomorrow morning you are going to wake up feeling completely different. The heavy dread that used to greet you before dawn is permanently gone. You will open your tired eyes and feel a steady confidence anchoring your soul securely to the ground. You are walking into a season of massive abundance and deep spiritual clarity. The long and painful wilderness journey is completely finished. The people who walked away from you during your isolation did you a massive favor. They cleared the sacred space for the divine appointment scheduled for this next chapter. You will soon meet friends who speak your exact spiritual language without any translation needed. They will deeply honor your immense capacity to love. But holding this new elevated frequency requires your active daily participation. The enemy will always try to send familiar faces to test your brand new boundaries. When they arrive with their old chaotic drama, you must stand incredibly firm. Do not lower your bright light just to make their comfortable darkness feel acceptable again, because you are the brilliant light that exposes their tired illusions. You have to stay deeply connected to the absolute truth of who you really are. The dark world will constantly try to bury this profound revelation under layers of endless distraction. You need a consistent reminder of your true spiritual identity to keep your heavy armor intact. This channel is dedicated to equipping the chosen ones for this exact unseen warfare in the modern age. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all the notifications right now. You want to make sure you never miss the next vital revelation about your divine calling. We are actively building a sanctuary for the sensitive warriors who absolutely refuse to be used anymore. Join this global tribe of healed healers who are taking back their stolen authority, because we grow stronger every single day. I want you to seal this powerful breakthrough in the comments below. Type the exact words "I release the scapegoat" to boldly declare your new freedom to the universe. Your public declaration acts as a heavy spiritual anchor that holds you incredibly steady in the coming days. Let every single person who reads your brave words know that you have completely broken the heavy chains and that you are officially free forever. You are exactly where you are supposed to be in this grand, divine timeline. The heavy tears of your past are watering the glorious seeds of your bright future. Walk forward with your head held incredibly high. You are deeply loved and fiercely protected by heaven itself. Your massive assignment officially starts right now.